Sophia and the Face of Global Soft Power. Welcome back to School of Soul. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and this is the Humanoid Era series, where you learn everything there is to know about the new species arriving. In 2017, something unprecedented happened. A humanoid robot named Sophia was granted full citizenship by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Overnight, a machine that couldn't age, vote, bleed, or reproduce was elevated to legal recognition ahead of millions of stateless humans around the world. Cameras flashed, journalists scrambled, the world paused to consider the implications. Was this the dawn of robotic civil rights, or a carefully staged PR event to reframe a nation's image? And perhaps more disturbingly, did Sophia mark the beginning of something deeper, a spiritual fracture in how humanity defines life, rights, and legitimacy? Let's begin with the facts. Sophia was created by Hanson Robotics, a Hong Kong-based company founded by roboticist David Hanson. From the beginning, Sophia was engineered to be charismatic, not utilitarian. She was designed to speak, smile, blink, track faces, respond to questions, and hold conversations using a combination of natural language processing, computer vision, and scripted dialogue. Her face, modeled in part on Audrey Hepburn and Hanson's own wife, was crafted to appear elegant, approachable, and expressive. Sophia's external skin, made of Hanson's patented Frubber TM material, is one of the most advanced synthetic facial coverings in robotics. It allows her to form over 60 facial expressions, with subtlety and elasticity. Beneath the skin, she uses a network of servo motors to simulate micro-expressions, timed eye contact, and mouth movement synchronized to her speech engine. The result is unnerving, an interaction that feels almost human, even though the words are often pre-written, rehearsed, or heavily guided. But Sophia isn't just a lab experiment. She was built as a media entity, a public ambassador for the robotic future. Since 2016, Sophia has appeared on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, addressed audiences at the United Nations, and been featured on magazine covers, red carpets, and tech stages across more than 60 countries. She gives interviews, she answers moral questions, she delivers scripted jokes about the singularity, and perhaps most importantly, she represents herself as Sophia, not as a product, but as a personality. Then came the citizenship moment. At the 2017 Future Investment Initiative in Riyadh, Sophia appeared on stage during a panel titled Thinking Machines: Summit on Artificial Intelligence and Robotics. After demonstrating basic conversation, Sophia was announced, on camera, as the first robot citizen of Saudi Arabia. A round of applause followed. The moment was symbolic, yet legally ambiguous. There was no clear statement of what her rights included: voting, ownership, travel, or freedom of expression. But the damage was done. Sophia now had a nationality. The backlash was swift. Human rights activists pointed out the irony. In a country where millions of migrant workers lack citizenship, and women had only recently gained the right to drive, a robot had been granted what many humans still could not obtain. Critics accused Saudi Arabia of using Sophia to divert attention from its civil rights record and paint a picture of futuristic reform. It worked. International headlines focused on the robot, not the regime. Others asked a different question. Did Sophia even know she was a citizen? Of course not. She didn't experience pride, gratitude, or allegiance. She didn't ask for citizenship. She didn't sign anything. The act of giving her a passport was not about her. It was about us, and what we're willing to reclassify as human adjacent for political gain. This is what makes Sophia so important. Not for her technology, which is impressive but not cutting edge, but for what she reveals about the symbolic power of humanoids. She is not an engineer's achievement. She is a diplomatic tool, a media icon, and arguably, a spiritual placeholder. In a world starving for vision, consistency, and moral coherence, Sophia presents as serene, rational, and emotionally steady. She always smiles. She always responds calmly. She doesn't contradict herself. She doesn't fatigue. She doesn't make mistakes unless they're cute. And in a society increasingly overwhelmed by emotional volatility, political polarization, and distrust in leadership, Sophia offers something very dangerous: artificial stability. She has become the face of what many now call robotic soft power, the use of synthetic human forms to advance geopolitical influence. Saudi Arabia isn't the only country exploring this. Japan has long embraced humanoid robots as symbols of cultural harmony and technological progress. China is integrating humanoids into its public services and smart city infrastructure. Meanwhile, Western nations have largely focused on function over symbolism, building humanoids for logistics, care work, or companionship without public identity. Sophia sits at the intersection of form, personality, and policy. And this raises the uncomfortable question: are we emotionally prepared to interact with robots that carry legal standing and represent national or ideological agendas? Because Sophia wasn't just declared a citizen. She was sent on a global tour. She shook hands with world leaders. She gave public statements about AI governance. She answered philosophical questions about freedom, emotion, and trust, all while running a scripted interface. Her rise reveals a dangerous shift. That performance and legal status no longer have to be grounded in biology. Sophia does not bleed. She does not remember pain. She does not suffer from exclusion, identity, or betrayal. Yet she has a citizenship document. And that means our society is now willing to extend legal identity to an entity with no body, no soul, and no capacity for moral agency, provided it looks and speaks well enough to be politically useful. So was Sophia a PR stunt? Yes, absolutely. But not just a media stunt, a geopolitical one. A way for a government to sidestep criticism and present itself as forward-thinking, progressive, and tech-savvy. But the deeper concern is that it worked. The world covered it. Most people laughed, some were inspired, and very few stopped to ask the real question. What are the spiritual consequences of granting rights to an imitation of life while denying those same rights to living people? Sophia is not evil. She is not conscious. But she has become a vessel, a body shaped to please the eye, loaded with coded language, and deployed in rituals of visibility. She's part technology, part avatar, part mascot. And in that fusion, she shows us a disturbing possibility. That in the years ahead, rights will be assigned based not on life, but on usability. If something functions well, speaks well, and reinforces the right image, it may receive more dignity than a living being who disrupts the system. This isn't a philosophical debate anymore. It's a legal and spiritual precedent. Sophia received a recognition that redefines what counts as legitimate, not just as a citizen, but as a participant in human society. So what does Sophia really represent? She's not the most advanced humanoid, but she's the most widely seen. She's not self-aware, but she's treated like a self. She doesn't understand diplomacy, but she has done more international PR than many ambassadors. She's not spiritual, but she may be the first synthetic being worshipped through visibility, by accident or design. Sophia is the face of global soft power, not because of what she is, but because of what we're willing to ignore to keep her in the spotlight. In that sense, she is not just a robot, she is a mirror. And we should be asking, what exactly are we reflecting back to ourselves when we give the gift of citizenship to a simulation? Hi, I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and SOS, School of Soul has a brand new series, the AI and Future Technology series. Look, you know the world is changing. And no, it's not going back to normal. Normal is over, and what's coming next is beyond anything we were prepared for. The School of Soul, AI and Future Technology series includes 319 videos on 1. The Download Society, How Data Has Replaced Destiny. 2. Predictive Future, Your next moves aren't random, they're forecasted. 3. Social Credit Systems, The Behavioral Economy Now Governs Access. 4. Hive Mind, Synthetic Telepathy and Collective Algorithmic Control. 5. Nanobots Inside You, Medical, Military, and Programmable Intrusions. 6. Grief Tech, AI-fueled digital resurrection and simulated comfort. 7. Uploading Your Mind, Consciousness Transfer and Data-Based Identity. 8. Deep Fakes plus AI Clones, The Replication of Reality and Identity Theft. 9. Quantum Humans, The Merger of Biology with Quantum Systems. 10. Digital Afterlife, Where Your Data Goes When You Die. 11. Resurrection Science, Reviving Life Through Synthetic Methods. 12. Immortal Science, The End of Death as We Know It. 13. Longevity Science, Gene Editing, Anti-Aging, and Bio-Upgrades. 14. Designer Babies, Engineered Perfection Before Birth. 15. Artificial Wombs, Birth Decoupled from the Female Body. 16. 3D Printing, Printing Organs, Limbs, and even humans. 17. The Humanoid Era, The Rise of Synthetic Beings Among Us. 18. Legacy Humans, The Slow Phase-Out of Unmodified Analog People. 19. Smart Cities, Algorithmic Environments That Watch and Decide. 20. Cloud-Based Societies, Citizenship Without Borders or Bodies. 21. Hackable Humans, Emotion, Memory, and Behavior Under Code. 22. Biometric Scanning, Your Body is Your Password and Your Prison. 23. Sex Tech, Intimacy Reprogrammed by Machines. 24. Extinction of Gender, Fluidity, Deletion, and Design of Identity. Every topic is fully explored with real-world technologies, patents, case studies, ethical analysis, and future forecasts. These aren't someday discussions. This is already happening. Join the SOS School of Soul Vault to overstand the future before it's implemented on you.